Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Raka Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And in this lesson, I wanted to speak on these so-called unprecedented fires that have been lighting up the Los Angeles area, and find it pretty interesting. The first thought that basically came to mind as I was looking at it was, damn, this looks crazy. You just had the omen that happened right on New Year's Eve with the three lightning strikes. The lightning striking those three buildings. I believe it was the Empire State Building, the One World Trade Center, and the what was the other one? I think it was a Capitol, right? So anyway, you had that happen, and now back to these fires, which, let's just say, fires are not a new thing, right? To especially in this area, but it's just interesting, because one of the actual images, which as we go through this article, a lot of it is like videos of what it's looking like and people having to evacuate. But it brings a lot of things to mind, having the understanding of the scriptures that we do, right? One of them being, this is a small thing compared to what's really going to happen to the whole north to the west, right? If you look at this portion, it's right over here. Now, don't get it twisted. This is still a big portion, right? The fires are pretty wild, but in comparison to Revelation, 18, Revelation 15, right? That talks about the elect standing upon the sea of glass and looking down. That's going to be a sight to see, right? Look at all these fires raging, but these fires are still quite different, right? In comparison to the thermonuclear fire, that's going to be so hot, melting everything to the point where it looks like an actual lake, like it's a fiery lake. And one image that really stood out to me was one down here. Boom, right? This one down here, where this is from a bird's eye view, and you can see the city lights, right? You can see the roads and so on, and then you just see this whole part here that's just like orange, right, with just fire. And it just sort of made me imagine, imagine looking at this from a chariot and not seeing just this, but seeing pretty much everything right under you being orange, just gone, and you're looking at it in your mind, you're like, yo, that's literally New York, New Jersey, Texas, North Carolina, Nevada, Colorado, California, all of that, with the people therein, with the cars, with the buildings, gone. And by the time it's been wiped, that's it. There's nothing going to be left over there. So it's definitely going to be a hell of a sight to see. And in that time, there ain't going to be no evacuation. Okay, the only evacuation that's going to be happening is going to be of the elect being beamed up. The rest, that's it. So anyway, let's get into this a little bit. It says unprecedented fires scorched 3,000 acres of Los Angeles area, forcing 49,000 to evacuate. And what I'll do is I'll mainly just sort of play the videos. You can sort of get a visual as to what's going on over there. I'm sure we've already seen some of those already. Fast-moving winds, wind-driven fires are sweeping through the Los Angeles area, forcing mandatory evacuations of over 49,000 residents. The fires remain 0% contained. Sheesh. Palisades fire has burned nearly 3,000 acres, while the Eaton fire has scorched 1,000 acres. Now, you have people who, of course, the Lord, we always pray, right? The Lord is going to protect the believers, right, that are around that area, and shield them and so on, to make sure that they're taken care of. Okay, so we always got our prayers up for, for brothers and sisters around that area. But for others, you have people that hear about their family members that are living around that area, and they start panicking, like, oh my gosh, I hope they're okay. What's going on? And it is that moment of helplessness, right? Feeling helpless, that people start to realize, yo, like, what can you really do in this kind of situation? And the smart ones would think ahead and say, so if this was, a much worse situation, how would we even survive it? That's sort of what should start coming to mind, because when we go into these prophecies, a great deal of them are dealing with, destructive judgments that are coming to this place. So when you hear that, you should think about scenarios like this, and think about how, when something like this happens, what can you really do? You're pretty much helpless, right? When these events take place that aren't within the realm of your control, you're pretty much a sitting duck. You're helpless. To help others, or to even help yourself if you're in that situation. And in that case, when people realize they have nowhere else to look, they then try to call upon God, as the world recognize him as God, right? And King David even mentioned that he beat his enemies, right? And they cried unto their gods everywhere, to the point where they even cried unto the Most High. See, because when they have nowhere else to go, they get desperate, and then they seek whatever help they can get. See, but at that time, it's going to be very, very late. In fact, too late for a lot of people to try and seek the true and living power then. And even if they did, the Most High wouldn't really hear them if they're not of the elect. So let's take a look at some of these videos here. Click on this one. Or we can start with this one. So this is people's houses, right? Their land, their property, all that is out the way, right? At this point, look at that. It's fire, yeah. Woo. At this point, the most important thing is in their minds is evacuation. Now, what's also interesting is, you notice typically when there are lots of fire, which I'm sure will be more apparent in other videos, there's also smoke, and then the area starts to become dark, right? Even if it's in the daytime, if there's so much, it starts to look dark, right? Now this is happening at night, so I'm looking to see if I can find a video that is happening in the daytime, and you can get a better visual there. But that should sort of help you visualize more when the scriptures talk about, the sun being darkened and so on. Yeah, you're gonna have the chariots in the sky. Yes, you're gonna have the missiles flying, over. But also with all that with all that fire and that smoke, it does cloud the light. See, what was the next one? This was the next one. Interesting. This is a pretty interesting symbol here. I don't know, if somebody was to ask me to take my best guess, I would think of probably two things. One, maybe like a symbol of like a star, right? And the other actually looks like a person. Like this would probably be the head, the hand over here, the left foot or whatever, knee up, other foot extended, other hand over there, just an interesting sort of visual here that we have. What's also interesting that I wanted to mention is that you have these fires that are in the west, because technically, right, LA is on the west coast, so It's interesting that you had the lightning striking, certain areas, a couple of major buildings in the east, and then you have these fires over there in the west. And all these are just prelims of what's to come, and it will be much worse. So yeah, there's that. Let me go ahead and let's take a look at some other ones on here. Right, and says according to Power Outage US, nearly 300,000 customers across the area are without power. Makes sense. A dire situation is unfolding tonight as wildfires rage in Southern California. Communities continue to be significantly impacted by the Palisades and Eaton fires. You can see that right there on the map. And also they're saying that the winds, it's really it's helping spread this. Now at the bottom there's an interesting post here, which we'll get to. But all in all, regardless of how the fire started, it is started by the will of the Lord, right? Whoever ends up doing it, governments, people, whatever it is, the Most High is the one who sanctioned it to happen that way. So it's still all the will of the Lord. Now, I'm going to get this real quick. This is Isaiah 29:6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and with great noise and with storm and tempest. That's that going into them lightnings. And the flame of devouring fire. So isn't that interesting, right? You're going to be visited of the Lord, and it lists these things. So that's why, we're not surprised when we see these things. It's really just, we just think of scriptures because it's all written in the book. Okay. I want to get one more real quick, and then we go through the rest of the videos. This is 2 Ezra 9:5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So at this point, the end of this age, this rulership, and our captivity is manifest. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and endings in signs and in effects and signs. And that's what we're seeing. Right? We're seeing the end of this place in signs and effects. All right, cool. Malibu urges all residents not under evacuation orders prepare to leave. Palisades fire is uncontained, fueled by Santa Ana winds. Evacuate now, especially if you need extra time or have pets/livestock. Find your evacuation zone at ... See? And so this is going to become more commonplace as more and more of these events start to unfold and take place. And, eventually this place just starts to go completely down. All right. As it says in Jeremiah 51:9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. There's no way to heal this place once the Most High has already pronounced it or announced it for, whatever it, with a terminal illness. It says Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is nowhere to be found because she is attending the inauguration of Ghanaian President John Dramani Mahama in Accra, Ghana. Yeah, I think that was yesterday or so. It says Scenes of the Inferno. This is by far the craziest video from the fire in Los Angeles. This guy is filming huge walls of fire surrounding a house they're in, and there's another person and a dog. I have no idea why they didn't evacuate or what happened to them. Let's hope they're okay. Let's take a look. Yeah, he looks pretty cooked. Might be quite literally.
Hi. Just be okay. You're gonna be okay. Hi. You're gonna be okay. Oh shit. Don't worry about that, dude. Look at that. Oh shit. Scary fuck. Yeah. God. The plastic is gone, though.
Yeah.
Why? Okay.
Had the water already?
Yeah. Oh, shit. So, where's the gas?
Outside?
Okay, the gas is off right now.
Yeah.
So as you can see, there's some situations like that. Now, when you just so happen to find yourself in this situation, right? Let's say, we ignore the parts about them. Maybe they had a chance to evacuate, they didn't. Who knows, right? You ignore that part. You find yourself in this situation. You're surrounded in here. You know, he's saying to his dog, "We're gonna be okay," because he's hoping that they're gonna be okay. But in this case, how then? What do you do then? And you'll notice that a lot of people then start to resort to some form of prayer or some form of supplication or some fallback onto something they believe. Whether it's that whole the universe thing or you are and you notice a lot of those people the you are God is within you and the universe, and they're the ones who really start to bug out because you are God and yet you are so afraid. How are you going to help yourself? you know then there goes the cries on Jesus and God and this and that. It isn't until people find themselves in these very life and death like situations that they then want to turn back and call upon the Lord. And this is what's coming. Far worse, far worse than this is what's coming. And the Lord knows that because he's bringing it. And he knows exactly how you're going to react because he designed you. And yet, people still think that it's all fun and games. They want to prioritize other things. They don't really care. We're just a bunch of crazy guys in the corners that don't know what we're talking about. Let's take a look at this. Bulldozers are being used to move abandoned cars out of the way as the fires continue. Man, that's a nice car too. Shit. My God. But now here's something interesting, right? These cars are pretty nice, but you notice they've been abandoned, right? So you have when life in society is all sweet and dandy, nobody's just gonna get up and abandon their car. You even get close to touching somebody's car, and there's a problem. You cut, you breathe wrong on somebody's brand new car. There's a big problem, right? And yet, when it came to this very dire situation, you see how quickly all those meta realistic things were abandoned quick because they're not that important. And that's echoing Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, as it says, "What hath our riches and vaunting brought us?" Upon realizing that your life is now about to be taken and there's nothing you can do about it, and when you had a chance, you focused on everything else. All the whole I'm on my grind, I'm chasing the bag and money over everything and all of that. You'll realize when shit hits the fan that it is not money over everything. Money holds no, it ain't gonna matter. What's the car gonna? Well, you're gonna sit in your car and burn with it. What's that gonna matter when you gotta book it? You gotta go and leave everything. And if you end up trying to be like Lot's wife, you're gonna end up like Lot's wife. But it just goes to show you all these things that people put so much value upon. Look how quickly they're just, it's gone. More devastating images from the Palisades fire. An unknown number of homes and other structures have been lost. The fire was last mapped at 2,900 acres, but is much larger. Shit. So we can see some of these images here. Not exactly sure how this is going to help, but it's probably doing something. Yeah, this is a real interesting shot right there. Yeah, some real iconic shots. Now, it could very well have been the daytime, right? It could be the daytime, and yet the skies will look like this because of the fires and the smoke. You know, like if you look at this image, you see how it's day over here, but you see how it's dark over here. Now, it could be a mix of like camera edits and so on, but edits just add a layer onto what it really is, right? So when you have those fires and so on, yes, it does darken the atmosphere. This we showed earlier. Across from Duke's Malibu now.
Available Entrada and PCH. All right, Sierra copy.
Yeah, it's gonna turn that down. Yep. Yeah, so this was the interesting one, right? This is by John Rocker. It says the homeless were starting fires in California today, possibly being the cause of the mass wildfires in LA. We don't know if that's the case, but let's take a look at this video. Another reason why the mentally deranged need to be taken off the streets. So, I mean, this is a video of somebody burning this. Don't know why, what it's for. You know, this is ultimately still speculation here, but it's still interesting to note and to keep in mind. Okay. It says a bushfire that spread to over 1,200 acres in Los Angeles amid a massive windstorm has prompted a mass evacuation. Let's take a look. Yep. And that's also something, right? Seeing this, it reminds, well, not reminds me, but it brings to mind, you know, when the Lord really starts turning up more and more and more, and there are different kinds of disasters, natural versus man-made versus supernatural versus can't explain, happening in all different parts of the world, different states, different countries. You're gonna see those compilations. You're gonna see like something like this, right? West Hollywood, California. This is what's going on. Then in a few seconds, you'll see a clip of like, I don't know, like somewhere in New York or somewhere in Texas, this is what's going on. Then somewhere in Europe, this is what's going on. When the Lord starts turning up, remember, he said he's visiting the earth. So this is what you're going to be seeing. You know, some wild, crazy things that are going to be really putting a lot of fear in people.
Hi, my name is Asaf. I'm building the house right down there, and we saw the smoke. We came up here and saw the fire on the other side of the hill, and it started spreading and spreading, and we saw it jump down there and there and there. And then as we were evacuating, because the police told us to, we saw the flames actually cross this side of the hill, and we watered our roof and ran away, and hope to come back tomorrow to a standing house.
Yeah, you guys probably gonna get out of here pretty soon. Is this thing gets any closer?
As soon as this video's over.
All right, yeah, good idea. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. There goes that house. Maybe. Let's see what else is over here. This is from Joel Pollock. Massive fire above my neighborhood of Pacific Palisades. And you can see it's really just people evacuating. Now, when these kinds of events happen in mass, you know, and there's only a limited path of escape, then you have that gridlock. And oftentimes, like as we saw above, there was a need for that bulldozer, or, you know, that for it to move those cars out the way, because sometimes you just have abandoned cars, you know, and then there's no way out. So yeah, that's some more videos over there. What I'll try to do is link this article in the comments, and then you can take a look there, you know, and watch some more of that. This is interesting. Stick with this one. Yep. So all them nice houses are gone. You know, once again, not too long ago, you actually had those fires. I forget what was it. Maui, I think it was. I don't remember the exact name of the place, but I'm sure as time goes on, there'll be more information that comes out. What truly happened, what's going on here. But you know, from a spiritual standpoint, you can already see that the Lord is already showing a lot of signs that He's pretty much ready to take this place down. Mainly by fire, as is prophesied. So with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.